I hear many of you tell me that you want the custody of your children. Some say because you are the better parent. Others say because they think that the other parent is not good enough. And then I sigh and I wonder, why would you want custody of your children? Why do you think that you are the better parent? Let's look at it historically. This person that is the other parent was somebody that you fell in love with at one point. That person was good enough for you to fall in love with. That person was a good lover to you. That person was the person you want to have your children with because you felt that he would be a good parent, mother or father. And then things have not gone right between the two of you. And you start to say, I am the better parent. Listen to me again for a while. Supposing the marriage or the relationship did not come to an end, would you be thinking about who the better parent is? No. Even if you felt that your partner was not doing something for the better upbringing of the children, you'd be working at it together. You wouldn't be saying, let's live under the same roof, but you know what? Don't have any relationship with our child or with our children. So why is it suddenly that because the relationship has come to an end, they are no longer a good parent? Why is it that suddenly, because the relationship has come to an end, you suddenly remember that your mother is in the village, she can look after the child because you still have to go out anyway to earn a living? Custody is not the marriage. It is not a prize for winning the divorce fight. Indeed, it has been found in many cases that even when you say that a mother is not a good material or a father is not a good material, they get the custody regardless. So why? I'm not giving legal advice. I am a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for many, many years. But it's not here that I will give legal advice. You have to seek legal advice either from me or from somebody else. But let me ask you, when you ask for custody of a child, is it for your ego? As in, well, after all, I've got custody of the children because they felt that she wasn't a good enough mother or he wasn't a good enough father. No, it doesn't happen like that. Custody is granted when in the best interest of the child. So the court will look at competing arrangements that you have and then decide which is the better arrangement. So for instance, if you say, oh, I have my own house, I have 2 cars, I have a driver that will take them to school, my mother will be there to look after them, she will help them with their homework, my mother has BSc education, and the woman comes up and says, yes, but he's never there, he's always buying sex, he has issues with sex, he has all kinds of women coming and going into his house. Even though I only have a 1-room apartment, I have 1 car, I can take my child to school because I am a public servant or because I'm a civil servant. I help them even now with their homework. That is the best interest of the child. So the best interest of the child is not an issue of money. But when you want custody of a child, and you think that because you are the mother, is a child of tender years, is only 2 years old, I'm the only one that can look after him and give him better upbringing. And the father comes and says, oh, she works very unsociable hours. She comes home from work at 11 p.m. She has to be up again because she has a banking job because she's a general manager in a bank. And despite the fact that she's a general manager in a bank, her mother is currently in the US looking after, helping her other sister with their babies. My mother is available. What's the best interest of the child? So when we come and we are filled with a lot of emotion, anger, rage, sorrow, we're filled with anxiety concerning custody, how do we go about getting custody of these children? First of all, you need to ask yourself, are you emotionally ready for custody of these children? So when I say emotionally ready, so you are the woman and the father doesn't come to ask after them. The father does not send you money for their upbringing. Are you ready? Or you are going to say to them, the moment one of them offends you, you are going to beat him on the back of his head and say, they're like father, like son. Because then you are not emotionally ready. Are you going to take out all your grievances out of these children because it's their father that you cannot get at, or their mother that you cannot get at? Emotionally, are you going to think, well, after all, I can't find their mother to satisfy my sexual urges, so I'm going to start bringing women into the house, when you know that they can wake up in the middle of the night and come say, Daddy, I need to see you, or Daddy, I need you. Because at the end of the day, when you deprive them of their mother's comfort, you must be willing to give them that comfort. Are you financially ready? And when I say, are you financially ready, I don't mean do you have pots of money in the bank. But do you know how to look after children, as in to know what their needs are, their true needs are? Or you just want to spoil them with money and spoil their lives and spoil their values for things? This is another thing you've got to think about when you're asking for custody of your child. And then, of course, what's your lifestyle? Are you one of those who hang on to the first opportunity to travel to the capital city because you are looking for the government contract there, or you have one development you are doing there, or you have patients that you have to satisfy, you look after, or you are even on the front line, and you never know how much infection you are fighting, and so you are exposing your children to that because your ego says you must have custody. Now, as I said, custody is not the price for winning the war. Custody is not the price for saying I am a better parent. Custody is when you sit down and you love your children enough to say, am I able to look after these children in such a way that even the other parent will be proud of them? Because remember that no court will grant you custody and say the other parent should not have access to the children. Every court will say the children should come and visit the other parent, maybe monthly, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe just at the school holidays, whatever it is that they will say. The children will always have to relate to this other parent. Are you able to bring up these children in such a way that they understand that, well, mommy and daddy couldn't make it together, but all the same, that doesn't change how it is we are with them? Because I always say one thing: you own these children 100%, just as their other parent owns them 100%. So let's get this fight about custody right. I am not saying don't ask for custody. Everybody loves to have the comfort of their children around them. Everybody likes to feel that, oh, they are the ones that their children come to and relate with. But do you know that sometimes even when you don't have custody, your children are packing up the stories ready to tell you, because they know that it's fun when I go to daddy, or it's fun when I go to mommy. So are you preparing yourself for the custody of your children? Not necessarily only legal custody, even access. Because on the times that you have access to those children, they are in your custody. What are you doing? Now let's stop getting emotional and saying, because I'm the better parent. You cannot say because you are the better parent. It's not for you. But I have news for you, for those of you who are fighting custody. Sometimes, when you leave these things to the hands of a judge, they just say the children should go in their own best judgment to the parents they choose. That is the court chooses. But why don't you go and seek mediation on these matters? You can mediate your children's custody even when you are about to divorce, or when you are in the process of divorce. And there is no time that you cannot have mediation. Mediation is a better option. It's less emotional, because then the two of you come, yes, you express your emotions, but at the end of the day, because you are both coming to mediation, you both want the best that you can get in the circumstances. So that man who is telling you that I have money, so for that reason I can get custody, you are coming and you are sitting there and saying, look, our child is autistic, or our child has to have medical treatment. Why do you want to deprive me of looking after him? And then if he was reasonable, if he was good enough for you to have married or to have had a child with, you know where to press his buttons. So when you ask for custody, sit down and ask yourself, what is the best way for me to go about this? Sometimes these issues, mediation sorts them out. I wish you well in your custody battles. It need not be a battle. It just requires sitting down and doing the best and working out what you think is the best interest of the child without thinking of yourself first. The child should always be first in your mind when you are talking about custody. Sometimes the better parent is the one that gives up that child and says, all right, you have custody. Because believe me, you will find out that if it is a parent that sincerely is unable to look after the children, he will return them to you. I have a friend of mine, that happened. For 3 years, the man was looking after the children. After about 3 years, one day he just packed all their load and brought them to the mother and said, they have come on holiday and keep them until I ask for them. Because generally speaking, men, because they are busy, they're not able to look after the children. But as I've said, if he was good enough for you to have the child for, he cannot be bad to look after the child. The best interest of the child should always be upfront in your considerations, both of you. I wish you well.